New research has found that adults travelling in the back seat are more likely to be injured in a car crash than those in the front. Front seat safety has improved enormously over the years through the introduction of airbags and better seatbelts, but features for the back half of the car haven't kept pace. Neuroscience Research Australia, who conducted the study, says the regulators and safety testers should pay more attention to backseat safety. Timothy McDonald reports.
In older cars, the back seat was the safer place to be, but it appears that's not the case anymore.
But now we're seeing in newer vehicles, because of all the improvements in safety in the front seat, in fact, adults are safer in the front seat than in the rear seat. It's not the same for children. Children are still safer in the rear seat.
Associate Professor Lynne Bilston is from Neuroscience Research Australia. She says only 15% of vehicle occupants travel in the back seat, but they account for 23% of serious injuries. And she says the safety regulators and testers need to do more to make the back seat safer.
It's largely that there's been a lot of effort put by car manufacturers and regulatory authorities into making the front seat very safe, and that's because where the majority of people sit is, of course, in the front seat. And that includes things like airbags and seatbelt pretensioners and designing the crumple components of vehicles so that the front seat crumples well and the vehicle area stays constant. But in the rear seat, very little has been done, and in fact, there's very little regulation of the safety performance of the rear seat, so that just simply hasn't changed.
What would you like to see done about this? I mean, what should the regulators and safety authorities do about it?
Well, I think they've done a great job with the front seat. I think it's time to start to look at the rear seat, and at a consumer level, the Australian New Car Assessment Program could look at putting, say, a small female occupant dummy in the rear seat when they crash test cars and see how well that dummy is protected, or a 10-year-old child, for example, either way. And I think it's time that the regulators actually started to look at what would be a reasonable thing to expect for rear seat performance.
The chairman of the Australian New Car Assessment Program, Lachlan McIntosh, agrees that more can be done.
Well, there needs to be more focus on the front and the back seat. I don't have any doubt that there are a lot more technologies, a lot more engineering solutions to improving the cars, and which includes the backseat passengers, and we need to encourage manufacturers into that space.
So I understand that ANCAP doesn't do a whole lot of testing on the backseat at the moment. Is that something you're looking at?
Yes, we've been looking at it, and we've also been looking at it for children as well, and we've been doing some work on seats, rear seat safety for children. I guess it's all a matter of resources, Tim. We have to try and cut our cloth to do what we can do best.
Should the government be mandating these kinds of features?
Well, they should be, but it takes governments a long time to mandate things. One thing we've found at NCAP is that by encouraging the buyers, fleet buyers, ordinary new car buyers to seek out new features, then we actually get a much quicker change in the marketplace.
ANCAP Chairman Lachlan McIntosh. Timothy McDonald, the reporter.